Alright, we're back for round 4. I will play, I'll mulligan. We're gonna keep scry that to the top. Playing lands. And, yep. Let's see what our opponent is up to. Probably another Delver deck. Ooh. A combo deck. I like it. Alright, so our opponent did top bottom. Yep. We'll play a land, crack. This one will get us a Trop Island. We'll cast Brainstorm. We'll put a Bolt and a Daze back. Let's see. Daze might have been better than True-Name there. I'm not sure. Then during my own upkeep, I'm going to fetch. I'm going to fetch out a Volcanic Island. Then I'm going to cast main phase Brainstorm. Putting back Abrupt Decay and True-Name Nemesis. Then I will cast this Ponder. So we're just... are we going to get pierced? Brainstorm, okay. Alright, so what is our opponent playing? Probably a sneak and show deck. But let's see. Abrupt Decay on the bottom. True-Name in the middle. Wasteland on top. No shuffle. We'll play the Wasteland. So hopefully we're gonna draw the True-Name, which is a good card to pitch. Alright, more ponders. What is going on? Yeah, opponent's just casting lots of cantrips, probably playing sneak and show. Okay. Alright, draw. Then we're gonna slam down a main phase Snapcaster. for Ponder. Cast it. Put Abrupt Decay under Force. Play the Tarn and pass. So I actually am not going to fetch, just so that we draw the Force, assuming that our opponent doesn't do something that requires me to Spell Pierce them. Okay. Well, there is lots of opportunity for spell piercing here. So I'm going to do just that. Okay. We're going to try and daze it next, and we're going to actually try the double daze play. And then, and only then, will we fire off our final Force of Will. Now, I don't know, does this trigger the City of Traders? No. Okay. Now it is time for our final daze. Our opponent will probably force. Exiling Ponder. And then we are going to force for the final time. And this is our last shot. Okay. We'll put in the Volcanic. Our opponent gets Emrakul. Alright, yeah, we die here. Yep. Alright, we'll go to the sideboard now with these cards, this one, and we will sideboard out Abrupt Decay, and sideboard out Gurmag Angler, and sideboard out 2 bolts. Probably just keep that in. Maybe Sylvan Library is better here. It can draw us a lot of extra cards. So, yes, this is basically where I want to be, I think. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's go for a Ponder on the first turn off of a C. Okay, great. We'll put the Wasteland on the bottom, and then the Thoughtseize, and then the Delta. Alright. Preordain, cool. Alright, So now we're going to play this land, cast this Thoughtseize, and let's try and evaluate where we're at that point. Get rid of this show and tell. Our opponent has Ancient Tomb. Okay, Ancient Tomb, Polluted Delta, Flooded Strand, Omniscience, Emrakul. All right. Boseiju. Maybe we do actually just want to Wasteland our opponent. Goodbye. Actually, here I will cast the Brainstorm. We can put back Bolt and C and continue. All right. Get ourselves a tropical island. Play a Scalding Tarn and a Sylvan Library. And then, if our opponent doesn't kill us right now, it becomes pretty hard for them to win. Alright. Yes. I will put that on top, pay 4 to keep that in hand. I will play a tropical island and send the turn back. Actually, that's not true. I'm going to fetch. I'll get a Volcanic Island here and cast the Ponder. And put that there, and that. Okay. Alright, we can just go right on through to Sylvan Library. Okay, we'll put that one on top and pay 4, going to 7. Then we'll play Wasteland. Then I will cast Surgical, targeting I'll actually just Wasteland my opponent's Volcanic Island. Then I am going to cast a Surgical Extraction on Show and Tell. See how that works. Okay, our opponent has a pretty hard time winning now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now they're all in exile. Our opponent's hand is Ancient Tomb, Delta, Omniscience, Emrakul. So they're going to work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're going to work towards 10 mana there. They've got Pieces of the Puzzle, Cunning Wish. So they're just going to try and work towards hard casting Omniscience, it seems. And I'm inclined to try to not let that happen. They've got Cunning Wish, but I don't think Cunning Wish can get... Yeah, okay. And At that point, let's send the turn back. Okay, our opponent is going to Brainstorm, which means we're probably going to Snapcaster. Well, we could Snapcaster an end of turn Brainstorm if we were so inclined. Just to get some pressure on the board. I don't know, we'll see what our opponent does. I wonder what our opponent is trying to pull off here. Yes, indeed. They could try and Cunning Wish for Through the Breach. That would be a thing to do. Let's apply some pressure. Alright, we're going to cast the old end step Brainstorm to put back Bolt C. Yes. We will put back that, and then the Surgical. We'll play that, and we'll start getting aggressive. Opponent's at 17, 16. Alright, we've got, like 6 turns on the clock. Okay. Casting a pieces of the puzzle. Okay. Alright. That's a Ponder. Sure. I'm not really sure what our opponent's going to try and do here, but I'm going to try and make it difficult for them no matter what. I'm going to chuck this lightning bolt at my opponent. Yes. I will put Underground Sea on top, and I will put Surgical Extraction on top. I'll attack my opponent to 9. And then I'll slam down 1, 2, 3. True-Name. I choose you. Our opponent continues to sculpt. I'll probably fetch with the Delta in the end step, assuming that my opponent doesn't do something astonishing here. So what could they be doing now? Just more cantripping. Okay, we're probed. And we're going to attack them to 4. So if they use the Ancient Tomb this turn, they can't use it next turn. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna fetch. But alright, let's see. Opponent's at 8. So this is 5. So yeah, I'm gonna fetch and try and just hit a bolt or a Snapcaster here. Assuming that my opponent doesn't do something preposterous. I don't know what they're looking for. Trying to stick in Omniscience. The old hard cast 10 mana Omniscience. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So another like city into city. All right, cool. We win. All right, let's go to the board. So Abrupt Decay, Needle, Jitte, Bolt, Kolaghan's Command, Edict. No, none of these cards are very good. Yeah, I'll just stick with the plan. The bolts versus a painful truth. Yeah, whatever. Just stick with the plan. Alright, this hand is fine. Okay. We're looking to cast a Deathrite Shaman and then leverage a mana advantage to start churning through our deck for the appropriate disruption, but could be convinced to do something different depending on what we draw. Okay, that's a good card to draw. We're just going to start with a plain Jane Underground Sea into Deathrite. So, if our opponent has... Okay, I was going to say, if our opponent goes City of Trader Show and Tell with backup, we die. But provided that our opponent doesn't have the nut draw, we live to untap, and I think that we are fairly likely to win. Who knows? Maybe our opponent boarded in Blood Moon and we're just going to get completely knocked out by a Blood Moon. Well, that would be an indication that perhaps our opponent is looking to pull their pants down and moon us. So I am going to seek out a Wasteland to make that more difficult. I'll probably start with a Ponder off of our Underground Sea, and then, well, we'll see what happens after that. Alright. Draw. Okay, we're going to start with a Ponder. We'll put Trop Island, then Surgical, then Wasteland. We will not shuffle. Play Wasteland. Wasteland Volcanic. Probably a preordain? Nope. Okay. We'll play this Delta and pass. Very cautious now. There's the Brainstorm. Let's see now what goes on. If our opponent misses a land drop, well then I'm not surgicaling, obviously, because it'll shuffle them. But otherwise, no, okay. Well, we're certainly fetching here. Tropical Island is fairly meaningless, so we'll just get another Underground Sea. Yeah. We are going to pay a mana to exile our opponent's Ponder. Then we'll untap. And I am going to play Badlands and make another Deathrite. And then I will send the turn back. And here it comes. I will take out Brainstorm. Let's see. Okay. So our opponent... Alright, there's a Brainstorm, there's a Brainstorm, there's a Brainstorm, and there's a Brainstorm. Our opponent has Omniscience, Pyroblast, Show and Tell, and Spell Pierce. So they are looking to resolve Emrakul, or Cunning Wish. Pieces of the puzzle obviously helps them find that stuff. So we can put in a True-Name and then exile their Ponder. Okay. So they got Spell Pierce, Show and Tell, Pyroblast. Okay. So they've got counter spells for sure. And yeah, and we're gonna just try and race them here. I'm not going to surgical anything else. I could surgical. No, I don't really want a surgical Show and Tell. Okay. I choose you. And I exile this Ponder. And I play this Scalding Tarn, and I attack you to 10. So my opponent is actually just dead on board, right? Because we're going to put him to 6 and then kill them. So they need to draw right now. This is their turn. Exile Preordain. Exile Show and Tell. Yeah, okay. Exile my own Surgical. And exile my own Ponder. Alright, we win. We'll be back for round 5 after this.